some kind of social care. Often elderly people, sometimes in great distress, sometimes those with very special needs or disabilities needing that help. 1 million people waiting. That is simply wrong. And it's all very well for a Tory government to try and do one-off deals with this county council or that council or another. Sorry, that is not acceptable. What we will do is immediately put emergency funding into social care to remove those people on the waiting list from the waiting list to being supported and cared for, and set up a national care service. Because at the moment there's something wrong. If you suffer from a cancer, you get treated correctly, you get supported correctly, and you don't have to pay for it correctly. However, if you suffer from dementia and you need that care, it's not the same at all. I think we have to start looking at it differently. We support education, we support health in all its aspects. I'd also just say this, that Ian mentioned it earlier, Ian Lavery mentioned it earlier, the question of the mental health crisis across the whole country. Let's collectively agree we're not going to make rude remarks, jokes, or stigmatise those people who are going through stress and mental health conditions. We're going to reach out and support people instead. And that in government we will properly fund our mental health services so that the support is there for them. And in schools and colleges as well, so that we again have that inclusive approach to our world and our society. But an election is about choices. It is about the services that I've mentioned, and there's many more, including the housing programme we announced today, where we'll be building a very large number of council houses, as well as affordable homes for sale, as well as giving people some degree of protection in the private rented sector. These things are all absolutely crucial. But it's also about our economic development. Redcar was left to rot by the Tories. So many other parts of this country have seen almost no investment since the coal industry was shut down by Margaret Thatcher and her friends. And the opportunities, yes, the correct response, the opportunities for investment have been missed out. The opportunities of government investment are not fairly done. And so, despite George Osborne's claims to have created the powerhouse of the North, some of you seem slightly sceptical about this idea, but no doubt he'll write about it in the Evening Standard sometime. We will establish, and John McDonnell has made this very clear how we will do it, that will be a national investment bank, 10 years, £500 billion spread across every region of England and in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. So it will ensure proper investment, and I absolutely support a new Crossrail of the North, from Newcastle across to Manchester. Because it is about investment. It is about investment in high-tech industries and jobs. It is about investment for the future of all of us. Look at what Northumbria County Council was doing through Arch. Look what other local authorities have done through their enterprise systems. Surely we need a government that has the same approach of investing in our futures and our economy, not leaving that to somebody else. We will not do that. And so we will also negotiate a tariff-free trade access to the European markets as we leave the European Union. An awful lot of jobs across the northeast depend on trade with Europe, and we will make sure that there is that trade access there. But this election also is about how we divide up the cake, how we divide up our national resources. Public sector workers on a pay freeze. 6 million people earning less than the living wage. 1 million people on 0 hours contracts. Many people going through the most appalling stress because of a combination of benefits frozen or cut, disability benefits frozen or cut. Many people go through the most terrible stress of simply trying to survive. Whilst at the other end of the scale, there seems to be a magic money tree. That magic money tree magically cuts tax for the biggest corporations, seems unaware of the money that is siphoned off and put in tax havens around the world, and unconcerned about the lack of investment in the day-to-day services that we all need and support and enjoy. And so, yes, there will be tax rises, but not for 95% of the population. Those with the broadest shoulders will be asked to pay that the rest of us might benefit from the decent services and investment that we need. And that is what I think this election is fundamentally about. It's about the kind of world we want to live in. The role of all of us in a creative, supportive community that does things together. Look at the way communities can come together in the face of adversity, support each other and change things. Look at the wonderful gatherings in Manchester straight after that appalling atrocity that was there. Look at the gatherings in London tonight in exactly the same mood. It is about communities coming together and making sure that we support each other. And so, in this election, in the last few days that we've got available to us, just think for a moment of the choice. Think for a moment of the choice before this country. Re-elect this Tory government, and it is a choice between Labour and the Tories. And we're not doing deals with anybody, we're fighting this to win. We're fighting to win as a Labour Party to form a Labour government. 5 more years of a Tory government, maybe another 1 million more children living in poverty. How many more libraries closed? How many more school classes overcrowded? How many more people living in desperate poverty? How many people at the end of their tether sleeping on the streets of our towns and cities? How much more can we take of this? The answer is we cannot, we should not, and we will not. And so, what I ask you to do is understand how things ever happen in politics. How big movements of people do create things. Trace the history of the growth of democracy in Britain, and you trace the history of the growth of social protection, of support, of services, of development, of opportunities for all children, all adults. You trace it that way. Our rights come from those that suffered a great deal in the past. Our right to vote, the women's right to vote, the disability movement, gay rights movement, all those movements contributed to what we have in this country. And so we move to an election in 3 days' time. And when you go to vote, think very, very carefully about it. Think of the offer the Tories are giving you, or think of the kind of society we can create together. Because it isn't just about electing people to office, it's obviously what they do in office, but it's what all of us do to take all those ideas forward. The creative economy, the growing economy, the education system, the health system, the social care system, justice and decency for pensioners within our society. The Tories would set young against old. The Tories would set region against region. We don't do that. We bring people together. Look around you in this crowd tonight. Look at all of us here today, in our thousands, here in Gateshead. We're young, we're old, we're black, we're white, we're gay, we're straight. We are a crowd together because of what we want to achieve. And so, in those 3 days left, don't just knock on doors and ask people to be sure to vote for us on Thursday and go and remind them to vote on Thursday. That is absolutely crucial. But it's also about framing the debate. There are cynics who calculate these things in politics and say, well, Labour said this, Tory said that, okay. Now, what did all that mean? Well, it means this. You have to understand that we down here really fully understand this whole system, and all those people out there that are turning up at Labour rallies, they don't really understand it. Well, I tell you this, we absolutely do understand it. We understand what this popular movement is about and the kind of world that we can create. So when you are having those conversations, ask this question: is it right that old people, too many, living in poverty, is it right that waspy women have been so badly shortchanged by this government? Is it right that so many young people are not achieving all they could? Is it right that we have a government that seems incapable of even writing a letter to Donald Trump and telling him he's wrong on climate change and environmental destruction? So, let's do something different. Let's have those conversations about the kind of world we all want to live in, the kind of unity that will achieve that kind of world, and do everything you can in these last 3 days to deliver that victory for all of us in the ballot box on Thursday, to give our children and our old people and those in between the security they need, the jobs they need, the pay they need, and above all, the economy that we all need. Tonight here in Gateshead in the rain, we've shown just how much support there is. We've shown just what unity there is to deliver this programme. I want to say thank you very much for being here. Thank you to all those that supported. Thank you to all those that have gone before. And thank you for having the ability to put hope over fear, to put unity over division. Thank you very much.